So we're fortunate to have all of you here today, so thank you once again for joining us. Today we'll be having a few short speeches about social action. So this is the foundation of the society and community that we live in. Bringing us together as a community is important, but it's about what we do together too. Hopefully we'll have some good insight into how we can move our community forward in the terrible times that we're facing. To start off with then, our first speaker is going to be the Deputy Mayor of Harrow, Councillor Margaret Davine. Councillor Davine has worked for 7 companies, including Age Concern Harrow, where she was a director, the Wish Centre, and the University of Westminster. So please welcome her with a round of applause.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I'm representing the Mayor of Harrow today because she's busy doing something else, so that's when you get me. So, but I'm very, very happy to be doing this. And I've been told that I can talk about anything for 5 minutes, so that's a bit of a red rag to me, so I'll try and stop. But I do want to talk a bit about social action and relating to the community and socially generally. And I know from looking at some of the information I was given, you do quite a lot to try and make sure that you're in touch with your community, your own community, religiously, but also the surrounding community. And that's what I'd like to put a little bit into. I think when you are trying to work with the community, the social community around you, it's very important that you try to be very inclusive and include everyone you meet. And I know you do some social work by having meetings here and inviting people in, but I don't know if you go out and meet people out in the community, like in the shops, in their houses, etc. But if you do, it's very important. Harrow is very proud of being a very diverse community. That's our biggest pride, I think, that we try to include everybody from the community in the work that we do. And so I think for other organisations, smaller organisations, it's important that they do it in that way as well. And I was given a sheet by the people who run this organisation, and it's quite clear from reading that you do try to be inclusive in the way you work, and that's very important, I think, and very good. But what I would like to stress is that you try to include all people. For instance, that you talk to young people as well as your own age group, or communicate with, not talk at, talk with, and listen to them. Listening to them is the most important part, I think, of relating to people and to young people and to women. I'm glad it's a mixed audience today. That's not always the case wherever I go, and I think it's really important to recognise the richness of the community around us and making sure that we try to communicate with all those parts of it. I'm looking around for a glass of water. It doesn't matter. So I think that's the most important, if there's a message about it, is that you are very outward looking to the community around you and try and be inclusive so that people don't look on you as a closed sect. That's not the right word, I don't think, but a closed group. So I think that is the most important message I've got. And I know that looking at the sheet I was given about your organisation, that you recognise the value of education and that you invite a lot of speakers to speak that can talk about different things, and so that you have a deeper understanding of the community that you're situated in. And soon, with your new mosque, you will be very proud and very visible to everyone around. You're not quite so much. I mean, I think everybody in Harrow does know what is happening. Oh, lovely. That's splendid. I mean, I think everybody around in Harrow, around North Harrow and the wider Harrow, knows that the mosque is here and coming, and they do know about you. But once you've got your new mosque, you will be an outstanding landmark, of course. So it will be easier to communicate with, but it'll be very important that you don't close in on yourselves and that you welcome other people in and talk to them, and you go out and talk to them. So that's really and listen to them, because you learn more about the people you're talking to by listening, and even if it's the odd comment they make back, listen to that, and you learn more about them that way. The other thing, I know that you have lots of talks about health, and that helps you, and you've got family groups, and so that is, again, a really important part, that you don't hide away health problems, that you make sure you people can talk to one another within the community and outside, and obviously doctors and hospitals, but I really mean general health, so that you know the ways to keep yourselves healthy and your families healthy. And I think we hear a lot about poverty these days, and poverty of children, and how difficult it is for some families to manage and make ends meet. And I think that, I mean, we live in a relatively prosperous area here in Harrow, and I think it's much more important that we make sure there's no poverty of hope, really, with it, because poverty isn't only about what you've got materially. We can always cut down a bit and squeeze a bit on that front, I think. But it's very, very important, especially for the young people in a community, that there isn't poverty of hope, that they feel they've got a future to look forward to, and even if they don't like everything they see around them, that they feel they can go forward and make things better. I think that's really, really important. And it's it's the part of poverty that really matters and affects the kind of people we are. So I don't know if anybody wants to ask me any questions. I'm very happy to answer any questions, or I'll just carry on. And I don't know if I've been 5 minutes yet or not. I have no idea of time. So, but I do think, well, I suppose I've talked a bit about making sure you include young people in the work you do and the social development you do. Well, it's also extremely important, and I shouldn't forget this because I'm old myself. You need to make sure you're including older people as well, maybe people who can't get here easily. And I don't know if you have a system where people bring other people and friends, but that's one way to help with that. But I think it's thinking of the whole gamut of age groups, from the elderly down to the young people, that ensures that people develop and grow up in a healthy and positive way and look forward to the future. We all see things going on, or hear of things going on in countries around us or across many seas at the moment, and are quite horrified, I think. And it's important that we think get ourselves and our community into a way that is thinking positively about the future and can look forward to things getting better. Because nothing makes elderly people more isolated than staying indoors because they're frightened of the community around them, than feeling there is nothing, everything, you know, it's not like it used to be. Well, I feel like that sometimes. But that feeling that there's no way they can make it better. And when I feel like that, then I think you've got to keep going out and meeting people and listening to them and talking to them so that you can put your 10 pence into getting better. And that's the same for, especially for young people, but also for older people, because they can very easily become quite isolated in their homes because it's the only place they feel safe. So, there, that's my little bit.